I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor, and it's been so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law, but you're in a different country. You can't do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately.
I think President Trump has shown he is racist, he is sexist, he is misogynistic, and he's Islamophobic.
London Mayor Sadiq Khan has fired back at U.S. President Donald Trump's recent attacks, calling the president sexist, misogynist, and Islamophobic. In a candid interview with Sky News, Khan asked why a Muslim mayor of a liberal, multicultural, and successful city seems to be occupying Trump's mind. He said, "I think people are wondering what it is about this Muslim mayor. That means I appear to be living rent-free inside Donald Trump's head." When pressed on whether Trump's comments were Islamophobic, Khan was unequivocal. He stated, "Listen, when people say things, when people behave in a certain way, you've got to believe them. I think President Trump has shown he is racist, he is sexist, he is misogynistic, and he's Islamophobic." Khan's remarks come amid a series of public jabs by Trump, who labeled the London mayor a terrible mayor.
And I have to say, I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor, and it's been so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law, but you're in a different country. You can't do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately. This cannot be sustained. What makes the world so beautiful is that each country is unique. But to stay this way, every sovereign nation must have the right to control their own borders. You have the right to control your borders, as we do now, and to limit the sheer numbers of migrants entering their countries and paid for by the people of that nation that were there and that built that particular nation at the time. They put their blood, sweat, tears, money into that country, and now they're being ruined. Proud nations must be allowed to protect their communities and prevent their societies from being overwhelmed by people they have never seen before, with different customs, religions, with different everything. Where migrants have violated laws, lodged false asylum claims, or claimed refugee status for illegitimate reasons, they should, in many cases, be immediately sent home. And while we will always have a big heart for places and people that are struggling and truly compassionate, answers will be given. We have to solve the problem, and we have to solve it in their countries, not create new problems in our countries. And we are very helpful to a lot of countries.
Khan highlighted record American visitors, global rankings, and London's cultural, economic, and sporting strengths.
I think President Trump has shown he is racist, he is sexist, he is misogynistic, and he's Islamophobic.
And he called you a terrible mayor as well. Are you a terrible mayor?
Well, listen, I'm just thankful that we have record numbers of Americans coming to London. Since records began, there's only been a period where more Americans have come to London. There must be a reason for that. You look at a number of different criteria. We're often the number one city in the globe when it comes to culture, when it comes to foreign direct investment, when it comes to sports, when it comes to the ability for people to fulfill their potential. I'm really proud that we are the greatest city in the world. Long may that continue.
Khan acknowledged the benefits of London's relationship with the U.S., but emphasized accountability. "I think one of the advantages of having a special relationship with the USA is obviously when it comes to trade, when it comes to military alliances, when it comes to other areas where we work close together. But it should also mean you've got the confidence to call them out when they're wrong." The London mayor further added, thinking that President Trump is wrong in many ways. During his state visit to Britain with sharp words for Trump, revealed he personally requested that Khan be excluded from official events, calling him among the worst mayors in the world. Speaking to reporters, Trump did not hold back, accusing Mayor Khan of mismanaging London.
What do you think about the fact that you attend an event in England, a state visit, spectacular,
right,
and yet the Mayor of London can't be there?
I didn't want him there. I asked that he not be there. I don't want them. I think the Mayor of London, Khan, is among the worst mayors in the world. And we have some bad ones. If you look at Chicago, but I think he's the equivalent of the Mayor of Chicago. I think he's done a terrible job. Crime in London is through the roof. The Mayor of London, Mayor Khan, has done a terrible job. And on immigration, he's a disaster. No, I asked that he not be there. He wanted to be there, as I understand. I didn't want him. I've not liked him for a long time. I just think, I have a certain pride in London and UK. My mother was born in Scotland, as you know. And when I see Mayor Khan do a bad job, the stabbings and the dirt and the filth, it's not the same. No, I didn't want him there.
And the Prime Minister said to you, when I asked about, are we a Christian country, his answer was that he was christened. But he's quoted in newspapers.
Who was right?
The Prime Minister said, I was christened, he said today, this afternoon, as though that explained whether we were a Christian country. But he's actually been quoted as saying, 2 years ago, saying he was an atheist. He's a committed atheist. Is he the kind of guy that says something when you're there?
I think he's a very nice man. I really do. And his wife is nice. And, we live for a day and a half. And, the thing I most disagree, I guess I disagree with him on two things. Immigration, which is very rough for the UK, very rough. And energy. As I said, the North Sea, if I had that, I'd make a fortune with it. Look at Norway's accounts. Look at the cash Norway has. And they have the same thing we're talking about. I don't even know if they have as much. But that's a tremendous asset. So those two things. But
you got the feeling.
I get along with him great. I think he's a really fine person.
You got the feeling today that business is keen to invest in the UK? Because it doesn't feel like that when you live there.
Well, we made a deal with the UK, and some of those companies have made a deal with the UK, but there's always strings to the US. I help them. I help them. I want to help them. I want them to be strong as a country. I think it's important that the UK be strong. And we're so strong financially that we can get people to do other things.
Mr. President, trying to talk to you about Ukraine. Did the Prime Minister talk to you about Ukraine? He indicated he did. What were his arguments for what you should do?
He was really a little bit embarrassed that that I called Europe, NATO countries, EU countries, you can call it either way because they're very similar, but that I caught them buying oil from Russia. And he said, that's not good. I appreciated that he said that. He said, that's not good. Now, how about that? We're supposed to do all this stuff, and they're buying oil from Russia. That's not good. Do you agree?
Yeah.
That's about pretty much all we do.